My name is Jeffrey. As a matter of fact, I was the PA to Abure up till March last year before I resigned when the issues became too embarrassing for some of us who still have some who have dignity. I came on board when Peter Obi joined the party and took the ticket. I have lived both in Abuja and Lagos, but since COVID I moved to Lagos. My job moved me to Lagos. While I was working, PO joined, and then I was called by Abure, whom I have known for the last 12 years, who called me, spoke to me, pleaded with me for a month before I agreed to leave my job and take the risk because of PO. So, if anybody is going to talk about what has happened in labor, what is going on, and what will likely happen, I think I should be one of the persons who have PO's ears when these matters began, way before anybody had any clue there were going to be internal issues, way before the money, before the financial mismanagement, forgery, and all the issues came up. And I want to make one thing clear. If there's anybody on this platform, please, with all due respect, if you advocate for Abure, I would take it that either you are completely naive of who Abure is, or you are part of the people benefiting from the fraud that he's doing. As for Dayo Ekong, I don't want to call her pastor because I have known her. The day that Ekong was nominated as chairman of the Labour Party was in Oshogbo at night, in the middle of the night. You people don't know the story of her nomination. So those people who are clamoring for Dayo pastor, doctor, I heard somebody call him pastor, doctor. It's very insulting because you don't know how despicable that woman is in character. If anybody doesn't know that Abure has been a businessman with Labour Party for the past 15 years of his life, I will consider that person as very naive in political matters. Maybe when the time comes, we will show proof of all the funds they were receiving from opposition, even before PO's elections. Even the Dayo and Co, the funds they were collecting from Badabiamila and Co, will begin to talk. So it's annoying for somebody to come here and defend an Abure who forges people's signature to make money in the name of Labour Party. Then he comes with his skinny looking, lanky, crooked face and deceive people. People who defend Abure are either people benefiting from his fraud or people who are just as despicable
in character. Pocket.
Do they know what people went through? Genuinely, sincerely, people's life was being threatened up and down. Do you people know how many weeks were hiding in government house in Abia State when Alex Oti was protecting Abure for the people not to lynch him after the evil he did? The same people that saved the crook. Do you know how they almost cut my neck in Abia State? That I was the one running the funds for him. So for anybody to come here and say, there's a really doctor, this is Njenje, it's insulting. Then you call that fraud woman a doctor, a pastor doctor. You know what it means to be a doctor. So that some people are not talking doesn't mean they don't know what they are doing. So anybody who comes here and defend Abure, please, you will have us to contend with you. If you come here and defend our econ, we have us to contend with. If you come here and defend what's that Lagos State Secretary, Opara, that crook, you will have us to battle to because we know their story. We have their files. And the evil they were doing with the obedience were busy taking the bullets in the streets, defending the votes and the polling units, spending their money to do campaign and do all the protests. Those are just in the offices taking all the money. Sabotage all the effort of young Nigerians who really wanted a change. Somebody's coming and saying, as of now, that is at Abure. We were taking bullets for it because of Peter Obi, because we were looking at the bigger picture. Best credible persons came from Canada, America. They went to stay on the ticket to keep the structure strong. Monies were coming. This bastard were taking money from Canada, from UK, from America, from Germany. These people were putting all the money in their pocket. They were forging documents left, right, and center. They were sabotaging PO, even in the court.
Even business plan boys.
Somebody will come
bringing plan for money
and be defending criminality in this. Jesus Christ! People are naive. Oh. People are very naive. So as a way forward, sir, I want to propose as a way forward.
If I open my mouth to tell you the atrocities these cowards permitted during the election, in fact, Badagry local government, what they did, those people, those Labour Party agents under Direcon, how they destroyed the whole thing in Badagry local government. Anybody that comes here to defend Abure, with all that happened in Edo State, anybody that comes here to defend Abure, thunder wey be say go fire you, just leave my house. Na. I dey tell you, if you come out here to defend Abure.
Sorry guys, even this Anambra they just had a couple of days ago. A lot of people have made a lot of remarks about the process and the outcome. It will interest you to know that Anambra State was already sold to late Dr. Fanyuba of blessed memory. It will shock you to know that as far back as September 2023, Abure and that short crooked Chief Ojuku had already sold the ticket. They had already started collecting money for it. Well, this space is not to attack Val, for example. I would have drawn him into the matter because when he started the bidding process to sell the ticket to APC, I went to Val because he was of course prominent member of the movement. I told him what's going on, and that persons like him who we believe have done their bit should have a fair chance to contest. And I told him, I'm telling you this thing, and so you put your ears down. They are meeting. They've met more than twice. Money is already exchanging hands. They are going to give the guy the structure. So what you should do, sir, is to put your ears down and know what to do. Val said to me, if PO does not get me to secure the ticket for me, they don't give me right of first refusal, is a loss on the party. I said, no, a lot of things are happening. PO already is saying that Abure is already sold out to the opposition. So he wants to be careful. So if you want people to start the fight, and raise the dust, you have to set the machinery up politically. Of course, you know how he does this thing. That's by the way. What am I trying to say? The reason you saw a lot of people didn't even show up to even take labor form, even before this court pronouncement, was because the players in the state already knew that Abure had long sold the ticket. When late Dr. Fanyuba passed, that was when they went to start making deals with Dr. Mogalo, who's former treasurer to APC. I hope you guys know. Someone I know very well. They were looking for the highest bidder. Initially, Abure bid him 500 million because they had bid late Fanyuba 1B. If he drops 1B, they will give him the whole party structure from state chairman to ward table cleaner. They will have the whole structure. To them, it's about money, and money. The Edo story, if we start the Edo story, some of you will get angry and will not sleep tonight. You will be too angry.
We know the Edo story now. We know.
You will be.
We know we that were in Edo.
You will be too angry that how can one person be so greedy, so wicked, so demonic, to have such disregard for the collective will of distinguished, hardworking young people who really want to move the party forward. How can one person be that demonic? If the person were your father, I'm sure you people will fight naked on the street.
God, I beg you, tell the story. My donation is in Edo. I donated a lot of money for Edo campaign.
See how Edo started. Let me give you a background story of Edo.
Tell the story. It's painful.
Before now, Abure was a showmanless boy over the last 15 years. When Abure was working in night post before they sacked him for stealing.
I met the man that gave borrowed Abure 15,000 naira.
Hold on now. Please.
You stop
Guys, hold on.
interrupting there, because I really want people to listen to him, and I wish you all know who is speaking. Jeff really knows where all the skeletons are hidden. He was the former chief of staff to Abure and also Abure's brother. So, like, anything he's telling you, take it to the bank.
Oh, I was hoping that you would not say that. Just
So what? So he has been Oshomole's boy over the years. What he has been doing when elections are close, Oshomole will give him money. He will stay in labor. Anybody that comes to labor, they will tell the person the ticket have been given out. When the Oshomole came in with the 2007 labor movement that he used to win Edo governorship, then before he moved to AC, if you recall. So Abure was assistant secretary. He became state secretary, used some of his juju. Another thing people should know, the man lives and dwells in Calabash. He has extended his tentacles now. The Babalawo in the neighboring countries. I'm sure he now has their contacts. That is his stock in trade. So that's by the way. So what he's always done when APC or PDP are running for elections, they come to him, they give him money, they tell him to hold the ticket so that if there's any strong candidate who doesn't get ticket from one of the big parties that will likely make an impact in a smaller party like Labour, if they come, they will block them. Or if they allow them in along the way, they will frustrate them out, just like APC tried to do with PU, just that the momentum was too big before the elections. If it was possible, we would have already openly sold PO before 2023 election. So that's what he's always done. So when PO joined Labour and then the momentum started, people started reaching out to Abure in Edo. The first person to reach out to Abure in Edo was late Chief Anene's wife, Justice Josephine. I'm sure people know her. She reached out to Abure with the intention to keep the ticket for the state. Senator Matthew Rogide of Edo South reached out to Abure. Mind you, Rogide was in PDP serving senator. As at that time, Obaseki was governor. Ogie was chief of staff. Ogie is Abure's state political godfather. Oshomole is their king. If Ogie pee on the ground, Abure can lick it. That's how much of a slave he was to Ogie. So Ogie was the one Abure goes to get the money and all of the things he cannot do to Oshomole directly. So what they did, when Obaseki started having issues with the state assembly, if you guys recall, they gave up Abure 300 million to secure House of Assembly seats in Labour for everyone under the PDP structure. Should Obaseki fail in court, they will use the Labour structure to deliver them, and then eventually they will resolve the platform much later. So he took the money. That was the money he used to buy his first Abuja duplex. When he took that money, they were negotiating. Maturugide came. Maturugide wanted to take the whole electable seats in the state. So they were debating. Abure was pricing, Maturugide was pricing, but governor was pricing higher. So at the end of the day, Rugide was uncertain that Labour would be able to make an impression. So he put Nenda's name as placeholder. Mind you, Senator Nenda was Senator Rugide's chief legislative aide. He put his name as placeholder so that if there's any need for him to take Labour ticket, he can easily switch. Yahweh, the elected rep that are defected now to APC, was Rugide's PA and nephew. He put Yahweh's name for the rep. He put some other people in other places. So when the heat was now coming up, other people were now offering Abure money. So there was now disagreement. Out of the disagreement, one way or the other, Rugide didn't trust Labour enough to fly. He didn't trust Abure. So he let it go. That's how date elapsed. And then they couldn't even substitute. Nobody else brought serious money for Edo South. That was how Neda's name remained as the name submitted to INEC. Not as if Neda ever dreamt that he would run for Senate. That's by the way. Now to the story of Edo Central. What Abure simply did, after he met late Chief Anene's wife, the deal was for him to hold the ticket. Abure now said he wants to run for Senate. If you guys recall, he started putting some dead weak posters and pasting in his village in Uromi that was going to run to become the senator. Meanwhile, he was just simply holding the space to useless the ticket. So, meanwhile, the reason why they had that meeting was because of Governor Bewulo, now governor, the INEC governor of Edo. They had met and he has been endorsed. So Abure was to hold that ticket and make sure nobody uses it. Eventually, Abure and Anslem, former youth leader, now had serious issue because Anslem was trying to also make funds with the senatorial ticket in Edo North. Oshomole was on the ticket. Oshomole was giving Abure small bread that nobody else must take that ticket. So after the back and forth, all the serious credible people that came to even keep the party strong, whether lose or win. Of course, we knew it was going to be difficult for anybody to win against Oshomole in Edo North. But it was also important to have somebody who was strong to represent us at that election in that area. So that was the beginning of Anslem, one of the major bone of contention between Anslem and Abure that started their fight. Now, having done all of that, pressure now started from Edo South, from Honorable Murphy, that Abure went to collect money from RTV and forge Murphy's signature. Problem now started. People now started talking. He now became afraid. After much pressure in December, when it was almost too late, he believed nobody else can win election if they get subsidy by now. He finally released Edo Central's ticket to Engineer Chris Omofoma. He thought the guy would not make an impression. But, of course, Obi's name was already on everybody's lips. So the man went to Edo Central. With the grace of God and the man's dedication, he was able to rally really meaningful support. So much that PO had to come a second time to Edo Central because he was very impressed with the work the man had done and believed by the data we had pulled for the guy. The guy is lived in Canada for a very long time. So he also believed in science and data. So he did data capturing. With the data he had captured, he believed Obi was going to win landslide and he was going to, run under that carpet. All he needed to do was to defend votes. So he needed a little bit of experience. So finally, 2 nights to election were cash strapped. SLSC released money. 100 million was released to be. The money was funded through my account. And then it was time to push the money to the candidate. SLSC instructed, give the money to all the candidates as their support for the final push. Do you know what your lanky crook was doing? Out of the 100 million, he was sending 500,000, 1 million to people so he would claim that he sent money to candidates. The crook pocketed over 90 million from that money. The Edo Central senatorial candidate even brought 5 million cash. He was able to rally 5 million. He brought it to Abure at night and said, Chairman, use this money for a local government for logistics. If need be, I'm holding the other areas strong. I believe we'll win the election. This guy carried that money, went into the room and locked it up. Not a kobo was released. That night, after Engineer Chris had gone back to Urua to go and mobilize his people, Abure called that 4,000 canvassers should be cancelled because he had got a final instruction from Bewolo and his group that they are going to lose the election if Abure does not stop, if he doesn't do something. So the criminal cancelled 4,000 canvassers. To cut that long story for that senatorial election short, at the counting unit, Abure lost his own polling unit. We had to spend dollar to buy people to win his polling unit by 3 votes. As popular as Obi is, that's to tell you how irrelevant the man was in his own kindred. 2 meters from his house, he couldn't even win 1 vote. So finally, result collation at night came. They started changing the senatorial results because Labour had beaten APC and PDP landslide. So they started changing results. So that let's mobilize people to go and cause chaos there so that nobody will have courage to go ahead. He told me what is his business. What am I saying? Am I not knowing the police more than him? So, long story, that's how Edo Central matter went. Are we going to delve into other states? Are we going to delve into other states like Delta, where I've already sent somebody to go and meet Okowa? They were sending money against the Kimpella, where we had a candidate, where the former Delta State chairman was the one receiving the funds. I'm going to talk about all the states. I'm going to talk about Imo. I'm going to talk about Imo State election, the trade they did that got my neck to be almost to be killed in Abia. People were telling me, all of us that did the decent job, people, our lives were all under threat for standing with this guy. Are we going to talk about the governorship election in Edo? How Abure promised over 8 people ticket and was billing each person 1 billion? How when they discovered the man was fraudulent, they all started pulling back. Did you people recall that finally it was only like 2 people that were truly really serious for the primaries? People who had already started initially, like them, Dr. Dori, who had put a lot of money to grow the party even before presidential election, who had supported the grassroots for the party, started to pull back. Abure was going to run. Pio told him, you cannot run as chairman. If you're going to run as chairman, maybe you should resign as chairman so you can focus. So there can be some sort of sanity and morality in our party. That was the time they decided to raise shoulder for Pio. That's after Pio bought him bulletproof car when they wanted to off him in the door. Is that the crook somebody will come here to defend? So to talk about the Edo election, governorship election, that's why he said everybody that's going to ticket will bring 1 billion. So when they discovered it was being fraudulent, everybody decided to pull back. Initially, when Olumide joined the party, when Olumide started to reach out to go the party structure, Olumide had requested to meet with Abure and discuss modalities for the party to move forward. He told Olumide to bring 1 billion. Olumide asked him, tell me what you want for yourself as chairman, as support. I can give you as a chairman, I'll take this 200 million. If you want to buy yourself a house, you want to buy yourself a G-Wagon, it's okay. But allow me work with the party people. Allow me take care of them so that they can be strength in the party from the grass so everybody can be happy. Said over his dead body, Oludi should bring the 1 billion. He will run the show for Oludi. Of course, Oludi is too civilized and too learned to play into that kind of trap and foolish agenda. So Oludi went ahead and started working, and before he knew it, the man took the party structure. 2 weeks to governorship election in Edo primary, no aspirant was able to offer Abure even 10 million. He became broke. He became desperate. He now went back to Kenneth Swagbon, a man he has swore with his father's grave that he will not give support to, and started running around and bid the man 500 million. After much back and forth, the man finally agreed to pay 300. But before then, it will interest you to know that Senator Ogide wanted to run for governorship. He had come to Abure with Senator Alimi Hena. If you're from Edo, of course, you know him, former senator whom Osomole replaced in Senate. They had both come to meet Abure on 3 occasions and had negotiated 500 million to buy the ticket. Abure was insisting on 1 billion. Orogide was to run as governor, Alikena was to deputize. Abure was promised that he will nominate an SSG for the party in Edo if they win. Because of course, if you recall the results from Obedience in Edo for PO, the vibe, the spirit, the enthusiasm was still very strong. So if there was an organized electionary process, it would have made a big impression. So when the pressure became too much, Abure didn't realize he was going to make a kobo. He now ran back to Imaswagbon. Meanwhile, Oludi had already done what he needed to do as a smart guy. He already had the structure at hand. Now, guess what your friend Abure did? The Abure's friend has been defending Abure. Guess what your that brother or your friend did? He went to try to connect with INEC to take election primaries to one local community in one forest where he had gone to mobilize thugs to go and surround the place. Meanwhile, there was already an approved venue where every sane, civilized person that knows Edo would likely run such a program. It will interest you to know that on the money of primaries, Abure was still willing to do anything to get that primary to that place to rig it. That is not to talk of the embarrassment that he received the day police came to pick him, that he jumped fence and attempted to run away from police. So the story is deep and it's plenty, many dimensions. I don't even know where to focus to.
Guy, they cook, Jeff, they cook.
So to buttress the matter further, when the election of Edo primary was closed, it was time to go and set delegate form. Abure said they were not going to set delegate form to anybody. All he wanted to do was for Iceman to bring members of staff of his schools in Abuja. They would just fill the forms in Abuja, substitute their names. They will load them inside bus at night. take them to Edo the next morning. They will operate in that village surrounded by thugs, and they will announce winner for primaries. But of course, Uludi was miles ahead. Uludi was monitoring INEC and all of it. Uludi had gone with INEC. They had gone to do delegate election. Abure had sent that miserable Kenneth Tahano to the former acting youth leader. They had gone to Edo to try to fraudulently manipulate delegate election. And trust Edo people in Uromi, they attempted to behead that one for daring to come to Irua to manipulate delegate election. So from the delegate election, Abure realized I already lost ground. So there was so much desperation. Having collected 300 million cash from Masabo, he needed to deliver because the Masabo head is not correct. That one was ready to bite anybody on the street out of desperation because that one wanted to use the ticket to do business. So finally, election money, delegates were showing up and moving to Bishop Kelly. Meanwhile, Abure had gone to Uyi Grand Hall to go and decorate the place as a backup plan for him to perpetrate his evil. He had gone there to surround the place with talk. Abure was moving in Benin with over 15 policemen with the money he was giving and the policemen Riceman brought for him in a bid to manipulate an election process against an Uludi on the ticket. And then finally, the INEC guys that came with the first letter Abure wrote. The second fraudulent letter Abure wrote to change venue fell short of notification period by a day. He had done it deliberately, but the INEC guys were very observant. They noticed that the letter that came the second time was a day short. The head of the group to Edo said, never. He's never going to bow to that. He's going to go to the regional venue. That is where he has instructions. There is nothing Abure did not offer the man to go with him to that Uyi Grand Hotel or go to that forest and write himself for Riceman. So eventually, when all that failed, that's why Abure could not show up at the primary venue. The Riceman Abure collected 300 million naira from could not even secure 10 votes. It will interest you to know that in Abure's local government in Uromi, they had a total of 22 votes. Riceman had 7 votes. What does that tell you of Abure as a person, or as a leader, or as a politician? I'm asking the person who's been defending Abure, what does it tell you? Are you proud that that's the person you are defending on the platform of intellectuals? On the platform of distinguished young people who want to have a better future? Who are looking for leaders to model their life after? In our respective shortcomings, are those the kind of leaders we want to emulate? I'm asking you, the Oga that has been defending Abure, please, I go and reflect on that question. So that day, at the primary, he was too embarrassed and too ashamed to come to the primary ground. All the people he had collected money from, none of them could even score 10 votes. Olumide, of course, he played his politics, supported the party from the root, but changed the secretariat, took care of all of them, and did make promises to them that if he takes the ticket, he's going to take care of them. Whether you want to say he monitors the politics, it is one thing to give politicians money at that level. It is one thing to build friendship. Olumide had built very cordial relationship with every member. Olumide knew every member of Labour Party escorts from local government to state to ward by name. So he had done his job. They were all driving around the state with the vehicle he bought from each local government. That alone kept the party energized in the state. As all of this were ongoing, Abure was still meeting with Saladin Ogi at night to negotiate if there was anything he can do to scuffle the ticket. That was why after Lumide emerged, Abure never went to Edo to campaign. It will interest you to know that for 1 year, Abure did not step his foot in Edo. People were angry with him. They were willing to take him out if he steps in. He was waiting for the governor to be inaugurated. He didn't step into Edo. The governor was inaugurated. People were not aware. He couldn't even go to his hometown. He couldn't go to his village. He couldn't go to see his family in the state. That is how much evil he had done that he was running away from. So he has sold the ticket. Now let me now break it down to you finally. So after the primaries, campaigns now started. When campaign started, PDP had, remember, after the money collected from Obaseki, When it was time, after Obaseki had resolved the issues he had in court, when it was time for those people who were holding Labour Party tickets for the House of Assembly to come back to PDP, Abure was becoming stubborn. In short, Abure stopped picking up Obaseki's call. He had pocketed the money. He was now leaning more towards APC. He was not talking to Shomole at night. Abure went to UK. He knew that people may have tapped his line. He traveled to UK and bought a UK number to be roaming. So when he's in Nigeria, he'll be using that UK number to call for his fraud. So people will probably track his number to find evidences may be having difficulty. That's the fraud the crook was doing. Finally, campaigns began. He refused to go to Edo. On 2 occasions, Governor Be will visit Abure in Abure's house in Guzape. They were still looking for her to destroy the party structure. Then finally, we woke up one day and Oshomole's ex-girlfriend, former speaker, of course, everybody very familiar with the local politics know their story. RTV, Abure wrote RTV's name and wrote names as a new ESCO. It will interest you to know that it was RTV that paid 30 million to Abure's wife account that Abure fraudulently substituted somebody's form that was already in INEC. Abure went down, he took the person's file and threw it to one corner and forged the signature that the person had withdrawn. I hope people have not forgotten that was the primary case that caused the FCID to be looking for us all over the place, that we ran to go hide in Abia for over a week. The forgery case he committed. So I'm asking again, the man that has been defending Abure, are you aware that it's a forger? That police will put me on handcuff to come and produce the person I was working for who was forging certificate, who was forging people's signature. So before you are defending who you don't know, please be careful. So that's what happened with Edo. When we came back, the idea was to have total control of the party structure because they were a little bit afraid of what Olumide could pull. Of course, in Edo, the agenda was that it should be Ishan's turn regardless. People had hoped that, okay, if it's Ishan's turn, maybe the more supposedly intellectual one will win. Regardless of whatever issues Obaseki had with the structure, people believed Aswen was smart enough. If they say it must be an Ishan man, people believe Aswen was smart enough to make an impression. So that's how Abure put away. Now, let me give you something very significant that you will know. When Apapa took Abure to court, when Apapa invaded the office and they removed him, remember Abure took the matter to state court in Edo when he was removed from the ward, allegedly. It will interest you to know that it was Edo state government that called the judge, Justice Amoji, to make the judgment in Abure's favor because Abure was their mole in APC, in the Labour Party. Whatever Abure was doing Labour Party was in the interest of the government of Edo. I hope people are aware that Abure fell out with Kelly Ogbaloy because at a point when Olumide came into the party and Olumide was really making the party stronger, Kelly Ogbaloy could no longer continue to sell the party to PDP with Abure. Kelly Ogbaloy started to have conscience, a little bit of conscience, started pricking him. And if you know Olumide is very direct. Olumide confronted them and said, look, Chairman, this is what you were doing in the past. You have to stop it now. I am here. Let us work together. There's no need to be here and be there. Please. You know, he made his point, gave the man the necessary support to be a proper chairman. And the man saw a need to at least change for a bit. That was the day Abure swore that he would remove Kelly. I don't know what other part of the Edo story you want to hear so that I can go ahead. But this is just tidbits of all of the things that this man had done. Are we going to go back to Imo? How he collected the $100,000 cash from somebody that almost came and they almost shot at me while I was driving Abuja. People are aware that they robbed my car in the night. They thought I was in the car. They shot the glass and took away my bag and my laptop, took my documents, looking for how to get somebody to pay for Abure's sins. The man he took money from, people are aware that it was the day police arrested us on the streets of Abuja that the man marched to the place and said, you give me my money now or I'll add to your problem. And he coughed out the money. People are aware that he sold Imo to Uzodima. So whoever is defending Abure, be very careful so you don't go and enter serious problem that you know nothing about. So that's just a tidbit of what happened in the Edo election. That's just a tidbit. On a good day, on a proper day, we're going to structure the issues and raise it. But I believe there really may be no need for all of that, because we really want to look forward and move ahead and not waste energy on inconsequential people like Dayo and Abure and all of those crooks you are seeing. And let me tell you something also. People who are close to Abure that are not very firm as a people, Abure does two things to them. He either hypnotizes them with charm, just like people saw in Dayo's office today, people's name written and put in calabash. That's their stock in trade. Every morning they go there and chant. So you will be blind, you will be defending them foolishly, or as a person, you're already mentally derailed and condemned that you can't speak for yourself. Because if you can speak for yourself and you listen to the voice note in that court judgment, even if you are a neophyte in legal terms and legal environment, you will at least just remain neutral and not start pronouncing Abure's chairman.
The Jeff, Jeff, please. I wanted to ask you, please. I'm highly disappointed. I know everyone here is very, very disappointed at the stories we are hearing. So the person that is speaking is someone that works with Abure morning, day, and night. PA knows in and out. This is who Abure sends message. This is who Abure is saying. This is where we are going. This is his PA. Please, my honorable Jeff, I beg, can you dive into Lagos State small, I beg?
Well, the House of Rep, the House of Rep crisis that happened initially is very long. Now, let me first of all tell you where the problem first started. The last Lagos by-election, the very annoying one, Baja gave Abure 300 million to block anybody from taking the party because there was somebody they wanted to put on the ticket to give an easy way for the person that was going to replace him in rep. People are aware. If you remember the build up to that primary, how
they no problem right on this story. I don't hear that.
Yes. So 300 million was given to execute the job and make sure the people who Labour people as a structure believe can represent Lagos better do not have the ticket. So Abure started the machination. So Juku was sent to go and get the job done. It was a very difficult job because they had resistance. But one way or the other, they found a way to perpetrate their evil. And that Abure did, Abure started threatening Dayo Ekong that she should not forget she's just a caretaker chairman who can be removed any day. As a matter of fact, it took months. Her tenure was not even renewed. The letter was not sent to INEC. So all the deceits they keep doing, they are not real, they are not true, they are fraudulent. So to remain as chairman for whatever benefits she was accruing to herself, she had to bow to all the evil and confess to us, to me physically in the door, that a cover wasn't even given to her from the 300 million. But of course, other monies were coming that they were sharing. So this someone is just a little bit of what's been going on. If you want to delve into the matter, how they were attempting, how they were refusing to give letter to rep members who had cases in court to go and defend themselves in court and even win the seat. Are we going to go into those details? Are we going to go into the details of does any of you know Barrister Eunice?
Yeah,
of course, we don't have the tremendous work that lady did. Because initially, if you remember in Lagos State during the election, names were not submitted to INEC. They had to fight and try to get INEC to.
True. Very
people
true.
know who refused to submit those names. Those files were packed and kept in one place in Abuja and were not sent to INEC deliberately. Because Abaraba and Abure had disagreement of money that were not shared properly, of money that came and Abure dialed the money. So all of those people who are defending ignorantly, they should be very logical. So the Surulere matter is very instrumental for people to know. Right here, February 24th, downstairs in the hotel in Edo, Dayo confessed, not just me, several other people were there. I think Sarah was there and she said, even the 300 million, Abure is not giving me, because Abure is so greedy. 300 million was sent, Abure received the money and I didn't get a kobo. And as the state chairman, and if I cough, you will tell me you will not send my letter to INEC. 3 months, she was just there as chairman, illegal. People did not know. Abure refused to get a letter signed. They was using to blackmail her. At the time, say maybe wanted to be. Anyway, let's not go into those other parts of the conversation. It's not necessary. I want to bring an important point to people to understand. When Apapa and Co started the crisis in the Labour Party, let all these people making foolish and brainless comments remember even the labor union led by Comrade Ajero and the Secretary General Michael Boaja, TUC, all of them came to Labour Party to give solidarity. And Abure was running her task in Abuja, begging them to stand firm for the party so that Apapa and Co do not take the party. Because Abure was not happy, Apapa and Co were already ahead into negotiating with APC for the leaders to surrender the party. So people who are saying these things are not aware of the tripartite agreement that was done in 2022 here in June, of the role that NLC will play in the party. When they come and start bending the facts, Abure has those people. If they bring those documents out, I'm sure some of these people, if they see Abure on the street, they will stone him. How Labour Party had legitimacy. Each time there will be kind, Abure will run to NLC of the 10th floor in Labour House. I'm sure some people who are familiar with the building know it in Abuja. He will go and wait and be begging. He calls him out, Pressy, help me, I'm in trouble. They will run around and quench all the fire. The moment APC got hold of Abure, everybody suddenly became irrelevant. You will be hearing him saying, after I will put our life in this party. Really? Ask Abure if he has a job before outside of Labour. If he has anything he does for a living. Please let the person find out if he has anything. What he has ever done. I'll tell him to tell you the story of Nine Post. So that when you're defending somebody, you don't go and open your mouth where somebody will pour shit into it because you're talking trash.
Wow. Abure should just resign. Abure.
No, the man is worse than Tinubu. I'm sorry, with all due respect. Tinubu is the friend where Abure is. People don't know this.
In the heart of the city where stories unfold, NjenjeMedia TV shining bright and bold, bringing news from the corners of the